Transgenderism.
What?
Queer.
What?
LGBT.
What?
Part of the alphabet club.
Excuse me, it's ma'am.
These terms are slowly fading away, not by us old heads,
You sure about that?
but by young people who are just tired of the bullshit.
Fuck! Brilliant!
I'm Jasper Gonzo, and this reality.
Yes!
Facts.
Yes!
Common sense.
Yes!
Wow. What a concept. But it's what's next. What's up, everyone? Jasper Gonzo, what's next? Your daily dose. Common sense, facts, and salt. Hope you guys are feeling good today on this Wednesday. Well, I expect to see a lot of things when I got up this morning in my feed. You know, the ongoing political strife, nonsense with ICE, and of course, knuckleheads like Antifa and Transtifa, and of course, the gathering of world leaders, you know, because of the Middle East peace agreement between Hamas and Israel. Yeah, I'm still kind of scratching my head about that one to see how long that one will last. But as we saw in yesterday's story regarding Hamas going back to work and slaughtering a bunch of ill contents, well, or malcontents, or however you want to phrase it. Anyway, not here to talk about that. In a recent report, transgenderism, queerness, LGBT, part of the alphabet club. These terms are slowly fading away, hopefully from the nation's consciousness, you know, not by us old heads, not by us Gen Xers or, you know, boomers, but by young people themselves, because they're just tired of all the bullshit. And here we go. This comes out of Breitbart. Report, transgenderism, transgender identification is in free fall among young Americans. And of course, Dee Snider from Twisted Sister decided to show up. Identifying as transmental and queer appears to be going out of fashion, going out of style, if you will, among young people, especially in the elite settings, according to a new report from the Center for Heterodox Social Science. Okay, Center for Heterodox Science, I've never heard of them, but sure, let's go with it. The report, authored by Eric Kaufman, director of the Center and professor of politics at the University of Buckingham. Of course, Buckingham as in London? As in England? Not here in America? But we'll take it anyway. Found that transgender and queer identification has dropped sharply among young Americans in Generation Z since 2023. Kaufman analyzed the troves of data from recent surveys about gender and sexuality, including the Foundation for Individual Rights and Expression, FIRE survey, and surveys from other elite institutions like Andover Phillips Academy in Boston and Brown University. Okay, so it is an American report. Okay, my bad. I saw Buckingham and it threw me off. Quote, whether trans and queer identities will drop to 2010 levels is an open question. But the fact is both have declined sharply in the last 2 years and is a startling, unanticipated post-progressive development that the education and media establishments will be reluctant to acknowledge. True. Trump has that effect on people to say, hey, you know what? Yeah, you need to be based and stop the bullshit. Kaufman wrote in his research in an article published to Unheard on Tuesday. And of course, he puts it on X, so you want to check it out. Eric Kaufman at EPKaufm, EPKaufm, and he actually puts the actual graph of the data, which of course, in 2016, it was under 2% who identified as transmental and queer, exploded between 2020, its peak in 2023, and it dropped sharply going into 2025. So reality may be making a comeback here. I'm taking a shot here. I might have to put some money on this. Analyzing raw data from the most recent FIRE survey, which polled over 60,000 students in 2025, Kaufman found that just 3.6% of respondents identify as a quote gender other than male or female. That figure compares to 5.2% in 2024, 6.8% in 2022, and 2023. In other words, the share of trans-identified students has effectively halved in just 2 years, he wrote. Kaufman found that surveys of Andover Phillips Academy and Brown University show that even more pronounced trend. At Andover, 9.2% identified as either male or female in 2023, but crashed, identified as neither male or female in 2023, but crashed at just 3% in 2025. At Brown, the percentage has dropped from 5% in 2022 and 2023 to just 2.6% this year. See, of course, he also puts additional graphs of non-conforming, sexual identity, queer, questioning, etc. Also in sharp decline. Gay and lesbian are stable. Well, hopefully there's a change in that as well. While heterosexuality has rebounded by around 10 points since 2023. Yes, being straight, it's making a comeback. Who would have thought? When looking at more surveys, including sexual orientation, the data reflects rising nonconformity from 2010 to 2023, followed by an almost 10-point swing back to 2024 and 2025, Kaufman found. Interestingly, quote, when the trans and queer trends were at their peak, freshmen were more likely to be nonconforming in their gender and sexuality than seniors. Gee, could that be because of age and experience? Now that the BTQ, bisexual, trans, queer, or questioning identification is in decline, the reverse is true. Younger students are less playing that stupid game than older students in their colleges. This is a sign that fashions, they are changing. Let's see. Kaufman does not make any affirmative conclusions about the sudden rise and fall of young people identifying as trans, mental, or queer, but points for some correlations in data worth further research. What explains the sudden reversal of trans and queer? It's not because kids are becoming less woke, more religious, or more conservative. Those beliefs remain stable throughout 2020s, really? The 2020s, he said of his report in a thread posted to X. I'm going to disagree there. I'm going to say people are more awake to the fact, especially with those who are messaging like TPUSA, of course, the late Charlie Kirk, others who have stepped up, like Steven Crowder, Megyn Kelly, and others. So I'm gonna disagree with that a little bit. Of course, he puts more graphs up there. Like I said, check him out on his X page. Is it improved mental health? Yes, in part. Less anxious, especially depressed students are linked with smaller share identifying as trans, queer, or bisexual, he assessed. But not entirely. Mental illness fell after the pandemic. Did it fall? Did it fall after the pandemic? I thought mental illness kicked up a notch, but the sexuality and gender shifts happened at least a year later. All groups, including the Alphabet Club, got less mentally ill, and after the pandemic, he continued. I'm still going to disagree with that. I thought mental illness kicked up sharply in the last 2 to 3 years since the pandemic. The decline in anxiety and depression occurred within trans, bisexual, and queer groups as much as others. So it wasn't the case that most of those who solved their emotional problems became heterosexual. When they woke up to the fact to say, hey, you know what? Dudes who like to feel pretty, yeah, I'm not going to play that game. I like being who I am. I like being straight. Kaufman remarked that the rapid decline of trans and queer seemed almost similar to the fading of a fashion or trend. Gee, almost like a phase. I hope it's true. I hope this continues. I hope that that we're getting away from this bullshit and actually being based back in reality that men are men, women are women, dudes who can't feel pretty, and yeah, they all suffer from mental illnesses. And with that being said, I'm Jazz Berganzo. This is What's Next. Want to see more like this? Please leave a comment below, like it, share, subscribe to it, hit that notification bell so you guys never miss a thing. Continue spreading the word about the show. Appreciate you guys watching as always, and we'll see you next time. Peace.